Wait. I just want to throw this out there. Even a Supreme Court, I think I want to say Supreme Court Justice, I said this about.
And I want to make sure that we're pointing out this is an argument from authority, which is already a fallacy, but I'll listen to the idea.
Okay.
Don't listen to him.
No, look, the idea could be good on its own merit. But Louis, what he's trying to do is, from this highly respected authority that you should consider everything he says as right.
Like even he said in so many words about the argument of feelings. You know what I mean? Like you were talking about, like, well, at what point does $1,000, $100, $10,000? At what point are my a corporation? Well, you can't. Maybe Misha, or maybe I can't tell you when it becomes or what changes. But you know what? Like even that person, that judge ruled, said he's like, I can't tell you what's pornographic and what's not, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. That was even probably a bad thing too.
Okay, but do you feel like you're being crushed with all this rules and regulations?
I feel society is being crushed from the rules and regulations.
Really?
Yeah, because
you have the general consensus from everybody, right?
No, it's not a general consensus from everybody, because some people.
It's general consensus from your own thought.
No, because there are different types of people. The Great Lion Society today is that we're all the same. We're not. There are people that generally like to have a little more authority.
But when I look at other countries and I look at U.S., I would rather be here any day of the day.
But what made
you left Russia?
Yeah,
that's not why I left Russia. I was adopted, but I don't think I had.
Nobody liked Soviet Russia.
I don't think 90s. I had, an option to leave Russia or to stay.
You took the option,
but
or whatever.
But if I did have the option and I was given the view of America and the view of Russia, I would have left in a heartbeat.
I know, but what made America that desirable? It's not the rules and regulations we have now. It's in spite of that. We have an ethic underneath that's pro-freedom.
No, I think America is what it is today because of those rules.
No, because a lot of these rules have only been here in the last 100 years or less.
That's fine. But because we're adapted, right?
No, but not all adaptions are good. There's maladaptions.
Okay. Okay, we're arguing semantics again.
No, I'm saying, because what you're saying is we have evolved based on these changes, but I'm saying not all changes are good. And you're assuming the changes are good just because they existed.
I believe changes are good, but I'm not going to be that naive and say every change is good.
But see, what you're saying right there is you think this country is so great based on everything that's come before it.
Yes.
But I'm saying it's based on the foundation. And the foundation
don't get me wrong. There's some shitty crap happened before today.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
For the most part,
we done some
shitty
happened, shit to get to the point we are today. But what country hasn't? I mean, you look at history of every country in the world. They all went through the same thing. It might have happened differently. Almost every country has slaves.
Civil War.
All countries have civil wars. All countries faced poverty and slaughters.
Yeah, but America, I wouldn't say the only one, but the West in general, they have the kind of ethic that makes them succeed more than a lot of other places.
Yeah, because we started to regulate ourselves.
That's what you know really what it is that we unregulated ourselves. When America was founded, everyone thought America was crazy because no one could imagine a world where someone wasn't running the show.
Yes,
which is what regulation is. Everyone's like, you can't not have a king. Okay, every democracy has ended in blood.
That's fine. But when we were unhinged and unregulated,
I mean, like when we were founded,
whatever, right?
Yeah.
There's a little period of time and U.S. history called the Wild Wild West. Lawlessness, right?
Yeah, but see, I'm not against laws though, but it's only the basic ones. And even the Wild Wild West, people follow the natural law, the laws that we all just kind of follow.
No, it was the natural law of your own law.
No, there is okay.
In the state, your pistols is the law.
Yeah. In the state of anarchy, there is the whoever has the most power runs the show, which is why we had kings and queens for so long.
But today,
natural law is underneath.
Today,
to a degree,
we have laws that regulate, not so much, we have laws where the entire society, no matter our differences, we can coexist.
No, but see, we have lots of ones where it's actively
we
against
would
it.
not be able to coexist together if we didn't have certain type of
No, and I
regulation.
agree with that. Like,
We
I
wouldn't.
really want to be clear that I'm not talking about no laws. Like, there's basically like maybe 10, 20, 100 laws that we need. Right now we have like 1 million or tens of millions of laws and codes all in the book. That's
but
way
a lot
too
of
many.
those laws are add-ons
Yeah.
because people fuck up. Like
No, but see,
Lewis
not
said,
every
like
fuck up
Lewis,
needs to be addressed by a law.
Like Lewis said, people fuck up.
Yeah.
Okay, you know those little tags you see on, stuff you buy at a store. Do not swallow this. Well, that had to be made into a regulation because some idiot.
No, but see, that's the
swallowed
thing.
it.
A lot of times it doesn't have to be like the company will just put it on. Like the Tide Pod thing, there was no regulation. There was an uproar.
Well,
People were
no,
like, kids are eating it,
of
and then they
course.
put "Don't swallow" on here.
The people had to
course.
put out this child seal, and
But there is a regulation saying that companies need to be reasonably responsible
No, but see,
for certain things.
There is no regulation that says that. There's regulations that are trying to do that with all these very specific rules. But customers by themselves, the employees, the customers, the owners, a combination of them all fighting with each other to get what they want the most will spontaneously bring the order of they'll do what's best for the company in the long run. In a capitalist society, that's what's best for the consumer in the long run.
Well, see,
And not
Why
even
is it-
capitalism. I don't even
okay,
want to say capitalism.
But
In
why
a
is
free
it, why
society.
is it that when I think of a capitalist society, why is it
Because you're
that
thinking of the meme of a capitalist society.
why is it that I think that a company will only do what benefits the company?
They will.
and not the consumer.
No, because in a
They
free
will.
society, okay.
Which is
you
why
have
we need
money and I
regulation.
want it. Look, if you have money and I want it, in any other society, I just put a gun to your head and tell you to give me the goddamn money. Okay? But in a free society, which is why I don't think
You offer
capitalism
goods
is
and
a real-
services.
No,
Yeah.
not even that. I have to convince you. I have to appeal to you to give me your money. Okay? I have to make the offer so good that you're willingly parting with your money. That's a different paradigm than give me your goddamn money.
Okay.
And that's the difference that you're not seeing because it works out over time. It's 100 million people in America doing 1,000 little transactions just like that. Is this worth my money? Now, not everyone is consciously making that decision, but they're doing it on lower levels. Like, is this more valuable than the money I have in my hand? If yes, you get it. If no, no. And then they consider lots of things.
Okay.
Well, we're not arguing against that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we understand that. The argument is
Like the
should governments? Should companies be regulated?
And I would say they don't
Yeah.
need to be regulated beyond like very specific instances, like the
Okay,
if it's
we're
like
not
tragedy,
don't pollute.
If it's like tragedy of even the don't pollute thing.
Like don't like let me if I'm a fucking nuclear power plant and I want to fucking dump my nuclear waste into the soil.
That's a tragedy of the commons thing because they don't own the soil. See, that's why I said there are specific circumstances.
No, hold on. You tell me that those power plant companies would regulate themselves eventually?
I just said in a tragedy of there are specific situations where government is supposed to do something. I need to be clear one more time. I am not advocating for anarchy, which it sounds like y'all think I am because
you kinda are
I'm not
in a
against
way.
all regulations.
No.
I'm for the very specific purpose
you're
of
not
government.
pure anarchy, but it's pretty like.
No,
Like,
it
okay,
feels
what
like
I
anarchy.
was gonna say, what it does, even with last week's episode and this week, it feels like scaling back, even a little bit of an inch, it's
We're
gonna
all
turn
do
into
so.
anarchy. It will.
Except for there are regulations on the book that weren't here 10 years ago, and the country didn't go to crap until that regulation came into being.
That's true.
That's the same thing. So
net
we were
neutrality.
living without lots of this stuff.
No, trust.
Yeah,
I don't see the big deal about net
Well, the net
neutrality.
I can see it and I can't.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I get it. I get it. Being on the level and field, whatever it gives every. But also, I believe that that's one of the regulations that we don't need.
And I would agree with you, but I would say the's a lot more. Like even
No,
the
we
seatbelt
don't,
one.
because before net neutrality, we were fine. I mean, we were fine. Everything was progressing. We don't have fiber internet today because of net neutrality. We have fiber internet today because the advancement in technology.
Or the natural competition, also the natural competition between them. to a
Net
certain degree.
neutrality is just that regulation that actually, I believe, hindered, certain companies from progressing.
Interesting.
Or certain companies shine, because let's say you have, two internet providers, right?
Okay.
And they want to say, well, you know what? We want to speed up the speed of Netflix. And they're like, well, we're going to speed up the speed of YouTube.
Okay.
You have the market will adjust to whatever it suits them, right? And that company will be able to, progress. The more money that comes in, the more advancement they'll be able to fulfill or, discover.
Yeah.
Right? But if everybody's on the same level in field, there's no room for, the internet providers will be like a monopoly in whatever area, right?
Yes.
So, because all the internet providers are going to be the same speed no matter what. No matter what website you go to, no matter, what you're doing online or whatever, they all have to abide by the same
rules,
right? So you're not going to pick and choose, what provider you're going to...
You have less options.
Or
less diversity.
Even if there was, 10 internet providers.
But they'd all be providing the same thing, though.
Exactly. So the weaker companies will die out because they have nothing to hold you over.
And see, that's my basic entry for the regulation thing. It's not no rules.
See, for that's where I'm like limited regulation.
And that's where I'm at
limited
too.
regulation. Yes, but there has to be. We have to have certain. We have to.
Yeah,
simple as that. We just do.
See, that's the thing. I'm where you're at. Basically, it's just I can see further down the line that we need even less.
Exactly.
Not to zero. Not to zero. I need to be 100% clear about not zero.
Okay, not 0, but maybe 5.
Maybe 10. Yeah. Okay. Look. Here, I'll give you 3 rules.
I'm okay
look,
with
if we were to wash away everything, I can give you 3 rules that'll basically work for almost every situation. For everything. Don't hit. Don't lie. Don't steal. Bam. That's all the rules you basically need. That covers like 99% of all problems in society, and it's something you can teach every single person this quickly. I can remember 3 things.
But that's the thing.
I can't remember a 1,000,000-page tax code. I can't remember 50 different little...
I get that. Okay.
And I want to say that's important too, because police, they can arrest you when you don't know the law, and they can screw with you in ways because you don't know the law. Like, people that have the most money are always the most advantage in a system where there's a billion laws because they have all the lawyers, they know all the rules, but you don't. So you never know when you're doing something right or wrong, and you're at the mercy of everybody else because of your own ignorance. And people don't have the time to learn the legal code. Like, that's wasting people's brain power if every single person in society needs that.
But the argument to that with me is that you have the option to learn those laws.
Okay. But
right?
Yeah, you have the option to. But is that a good use of people's time in a free society?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter if you believe it's a good use of your time or not. You still have that option.
Ignorance is not a defense.
Exactly, but see, that's the problem.
Ignorance of the law is not a defense.
I agree, ignorance of the law is not a defense, but if there's less laws, there's less to be ignorant about. Because, no, I'm not saying that we don't need rules. Again, I need to very emphasize that. But the more rules you have, the easier it is for people to skirt around and screw people up in different forms of corruption. Because if a police officer pulls you over, most people do not want to learn the whole thing. And I feel like they don't need to be spending years in school just learning the legal code so they can avoid all these little things like, oh, I thought I was going to sell my neighbor some blueberry pie because she really liked my blueberry pie, but I didn't have the license for this. Like,
okay, there's no law for
yes, there is. In the Facebook page, you can't even sell
blueberry
today
pie.
In most cities in the U.S., you can't even sell lemonade as a kid. If you're a 5-year-old making lemonade, it's illegal.
Okay, that's the regulation we don't need.
No, but see, that's not because even Juan jumped on the Facebook said, like, you can take control about anything. Like, it sounded like he was making the point, this is a good regulation.
Well, also
for him, it was reasonable. And I can even make the case. You're going to serve people food without regulating what they put into it? They could be using bad practices and blah, 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 blah,
restaurant,
blah.
I think where people, like, regulating the Girl Scouts or whatever, or, some kid in his yard.
Girl Scouts do sell tens of millions of cookies.
Well, no. Well, I'm just talking about the little girl. I'm not talking about the company.
Okay.
I was speaking for the little girl, okay?
Okay.
You leave the girl alone. All right? For that girl, I understand. Let her sell her goddamn lemonade. Let her sell her damn cookies, okay? She doesn't need to be regulated, okay? I don't see that little girl pouring fucking rat poison in my cookies.
But why would you see me pouring? Okay, so the little girl's selling cookies and I'm selling cookies. You're just gonna assume I'm putting rat poison in it, but the little girl's not?
But that little girl is not doing it to start a business.
You don't. They literally.
You might.
No, little girls like the Girl Scout ones, they do make bank off of it. Well they make their own little.
They don't.
But the lemonade ones, the entrepreneurial ones,
Well,
like I was
true.
playing,
But
like
they're not gonna keep selling the lemonade on their stand for 30 years.
no, but okay, but see, that's
It's
the point.
a-
That's the
it's a
point.
le-
Okay, so if I'm
As a
selling
society,
cookies,
we
no, because she's
you're
gonna
in that.
grow up, right? So she
Well,
could
yeah.
she could start off,
But
with
she's
a
not
lemonade
gonna
stand.
keep selling that lemonade.
No, she
for,
could franchise. She could open
well,
another.
sure, but once she actually starts a business.
No, wait. When
then
does she start a
yes.
business? Because see, that's the thing. In a free
When?
society, business it's useful to make this category for certain things, but it's not a real thing. There is no in a free society. Anything I do with him is business. Okay. If I like, hey, would you come help me out? This is the business.
Hey, I'm
between us.
moving.
Yeah, would you come help me
moving
out? Yeah, just for friends. That's a business. Not a business in the traditional sense, but this is the business between us. But now, if he wants to say, I'll help you, but you have to give me a candy bar, a couple of dollars. Then
Man, you work for a candy bar, Lewis?
I don't know. It's whatever.
I've worked for water before.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
it's
the truth.
whatever he wants to do. Between us, there's no reason the government should get involved in any business that we're doing as long as I'm not actively hurting him or stealing from him. If I'm not hitting, lying, or stealing from him. Right? There's no reason the government should be involved in any transaction between me and him. The problem that people have is like they suddenly, when it gets too big, they start getting scared, I think, and it starts corrupting their reason. Because you're okay with the little girl, but you're not okay with the corporation because you think
No,
the
I'm
corporation
not,
has
because
this
that
other.
corporation doesn't
But the
necessarily
corporation is
deal
made of
face
a
to
bunch
face.
of girls and boys.
But the corporation isn't dealing transaction face to face with you.
Why is that
It's
important?
that guy, let's say I'm the CEO, president, whatever.
I'm never going to meet most of my consumers. You would never meet most of your
Exactly,
customers.
you're not.
No,
You're
but you're dependent on them. Their goodwill. They're willing to
but
exchange
your number
with you.
one goal, which is back to my original idea like an hour ago, is that your number one thing you're going to be doing and the corporation is money.
What does the little girl do when she's selling lemonade? Money.
Yeah, but that girl's not making $1 million.
No, but see, that's the thing. When things get too big, people start getting unreasonable.
True.
What changes from when she's making, let's say, $100 at her lemonade stand between when she's making $10,000 or $100,000? Where is the line and what's changing? This is the same question I asked to Juan, but I didn't.
It has to be. It depends on the
See,
circumstances.
that's the
Yeah, it
whims of
depends.
the king. It's just whatever. It's a
But
feeling.
I don't see. Don't get me wrong. There are some cities or towns or whatever who say, yeah, that little girl needs a permit. They're retarded.
Yeah, but see, they're not looking at her specifically. They just saw one
think-
instance of someone selling food,
Yeah.
and they felt like, well, we can't have people selling food if we're not making sure they're doing all the sanitation,
Taking the health code and
yeah,
all
all
that
the
kind of
health code
stuff.
stuff. And what happened is the little girl, just like in all these regulations, she got swept in because technically she was breaking the law. She was serving food without following the proper codes or without being certified by the government. And see, that's the thing. All these regulations, every time the bigger the government, and it gets worse and worse, but pretty much at any level, when you make a law, you're always hitting a bunch of people that don't know it until they don't know it. So when you make a law like that, it feels
but if you're
good.
okay,
Right? Like when you sell it to someone, I'm going to make your food safer. I'm going to make sure that any place you eat at in this city, in this state, in this country, it's going to be safe.
Okay,
Doesn't that feel like something you would vote for?
okay. First off, like when you open up a business, your business is gonna be food. Okay. There's odds are you're gonna be a lot older than a 10-year-old girl.
Maybe.
What do you mean, man? How
No,
many?
because
how many restaurants do you know
No, but
where
see,
And
they're
operated by
it depends-
children.
by a
No,
10-year-old
it
girl?
depends on what you mean by restaurant because there's people operating
Well, I'm
street
talking
carts.
about
They're talking about like pickup locations.
Really? You seen a streetcar with a 10-year-old girl
I've
selling
seen
you
a
hot dogs?
15-year-old girl. I don't know if that's a big difference, but walking around selling not hot dogs, but that what do you call it? Palatera? Whatchamacallit?
The little ice creams.
Yeah.
Ice creams. Yeah.
I've seen 15-year-olds, I've seen 12-year-olds, and I've seen adults.
But are they working for their family business or are they doing it on their
What's
own?
the difference?
There's a big difference.
Which is
I'm pretty sure there's a big.
no. See, that's what I'm saying. See, you have all these feelings that you got from the culture.
No.
The culture today is so
Well,
corrupted.
well,
It's giving you a lot of bad.
Tony,
signals.
Tony, what? I
But we
can't.
have to
I
adjust to that culture.
No, because
kinda
then
do.
okay. The problem with adjusting to the culture just
You-
because
you
there's
wanna-
a lot of cultures that do a lot of crappy things that we wouldn't say people should adjust
Okay,
to.
you want to question like literally everything.
No, I want
like
to. No,
literally. You want to
literally
question why that guy picked up that pen and wrote those fucking rules on that piece of paper. You literally want to question why he
rule.
chose.
I want everything open to
You want to
question.
know
And I
why
feel like
he
the
wrote
founders
that
of the
letter
country
A
agree.
in that way and not the other way.
Yes.
You want to question why he used that pen specifically, why that paper specifically.
I mean, if it's
nobody
relevant,
gives a damn.
If it's relevant,
No, it's not.
Okay, that's not relevant.
it's
But that's
not
not relevant
relevant
to this. The paper and stuff is not. But the questioning of motives and stuff, that can be helpful. The people, like the founder of this country, the reason the First Amendment exists is so people can actively question everything. That's the basis of the First Amendment.
Who was your brother that?
Juan? Well, Carlo, which one?
The one.
The one in the Facebook
Army?
thing was Juan. Well,
Juan.
they're both.
They're both in the army, but Juan most currently, yeah.
Juan?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I think the other one. Carlos?
Carlo, what about him?
Is that the one that asked you?
No, everything in Facebook was Juan.
Everything.
No. Was it Juan?
Oh, the one that Carlo asked the question. Should even be questioned.
Oh,
Should your idea be protected?
Oh, Juan, that was Juan.
That was Juan?
Yeah.
Okay, just like what he said, you're arguing semantics, and like
this
I,
is, but this
and
isn't
like,
semantics.
and like
though.
I, no,
I'm
you
asking
kinda
what
are.
changed.
You
You're using
wanna
two words.
track back
You're
to
using
everything.
corporation for like here. If I'm doing business with him, at what amount of sales do I become a corporation? If you can't tell me that, these are semantics that matter. If you can't tell me, okay, I'm dealing with Louis,
Okay.
I'm doing a transaction, I hire someone, do I suddenly become a business then?
Okay, so
At what
are
point
you
have to know that?
you asking my opinion? What do I consider
No,
a business,
I'm-
or are you asking what the government considers as business? Because that's two different things.
No, because the government is working off the same reasoning you do. It's not very
No, it's
concrete.
not.
Yeah,
No.
because look,
yeah, they're working off a consensus of general
the
public
populace.
of what everyone basically agrees to.
Yes.
No, but see, just because people agree to it doesn't make it right, is what I'm saying.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's what populace is the agreement. I mean, by being in this country, by being whatever city we choose to live in, whatever, we agree to abide by the rule in that community.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Whether
agree
you
with
know those rules or not, whether you studied them all, whether you went to law school, or you
Read the handbook.
Yeah.
Whatever.
you in some way somehow you agree to abide by those rules.
Yeah, but see, the problem with
Now you want to question it. You want to question it. Hey, go for it. But when you literally start questioning like why that senator chose to write it with that piece of pen.
No, but see, that's not what I'm talking about. I was never talking about that.
No,
the one that I was talking about, the intellectual property one.
But what
if we're
you're
talking about
basically tracking it back, down to the core.
Yeah, because you have to work from the core. Because the best thing that humans have come up with is reason, and reason is about logical consistency to a large degree. If you can't track it back down to the core, if it doesn't track, then there's a problem. Because then it's basically the same whims as a king, except for now we have it disguised in democracy and regulation.
Well,
And
I mean,
then-
even
I wanna say this
hold on,
disguise.
wait. I just want to throw this out there. Even a Supreme Court, I think I want to say Supreme Court justice, I said this about.
and I want to make sure that we're pointing out this is an argument from authority, which is already a fallacy. But I'll listen to the idea.
Okay.
Don't listen to him.
No, look, the idea could be good on its own merit. But Louis, what he's trying to do is, from this highly respected authority that you should consider
all right.
everything he says
as
right.
Like
He's
even
not saying
even
you
he
should.
said, okay, even he said in so many words about the argument of feelings. You know what I mean? Like you were talking about, like, well, at what point does $1,000, $100, $10,000? At what point are my a corporation? Well, you can't. Maybe Misha, or maybe I can't tell you when it becomes or what changes. But you know what? Like even that person, that judge ruled, said he's like, I can't tell you what's pornographic and what's not, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. That was even probably a bad thing too. Because if you and see, remember how it was bad and it was good. Because remember how I said we were living by the laws before we even wrote it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. We haven't figured out the language to differentiate between pornography and art. If you can know it when you see it, he knows it on some level. We all know it on some level. We just haven't evolved enough to be able to verbalize it.
So you want the rules and regulation to be precise.
No, I
Like
want
specific.
It's not that I want them to be. I want
like
them to be
that little
few
girl,
and limited because every
like,
rule is a
hold up.
restriction on my freedom.
Like that little girl, she can sell her lemonade, but the moment she reaches $76.53,
No,
she's a company
The reason
now.
why that the reason that I brought it up is it doesn't hold any logical consistency. It's very arbitrary and it's for no reason in a society whose basis is the individual should be sovereign and should be free to pursue his values, his goals to the utmost. That doesn't mean I can come kill him because my values say that. That's one of the utmost. That's the limit. Another limit is I can't steal his property and I can't lie to him.
Yeah,
My
but
rights are
whose limit is it?
My rights end
Because
where yours begin, or something like that.
But where does it begin and where does it stop?
My right to swing
But
my
is
fist
it to
ends
you?
at his face.
But is that where it begins to you, or is that like everybody? Because what if for me, if I'm self-regulating myself, I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna take your shit.
So that's one of the few laws that exist that it's built in to the system at the low level, but we've expressed. I'm not saying there shouldn't be no laws, but they should be few and far between. Like if you feel like you should be able to kill somebody, we figured out across history, reasoning, and so many other things that your freedoms have to end where his does, because if they don't, then his freedoms will trump yours if he's more powerful. It's a power game at that point. If his freedoms go unlimited, it's the most powerful that wins. But we've all decided through history that yielding to power for power's sake is not a good thing. Yielding to power for good's sake is a good thing.
But what constitutes good or evil then?
That's something we have to work out as individuals and come together as a culture to figure out. And a lot of these things we still don't have answers to, but you need the freedom to figure it out.
Until we do.
No. Because see, here's where you go. Until we do, you just follow what I say is good.
No, I'm not saying you should follow us. I'm saying
we all have to do what you say is good.
Not me as a society.
But see, what if society hasn't figured it out? Then someone is making the decision.
Apparently we have, because we have these rules.
Some things.
We have these rules
See, that's
in
the thing.
place.
When the basic rules we all agreed to. It was the most they were pretty much self-evident.
The Ten Commandments kind of thing.
Yeah,
okay.
like it's so easy. No one. I mean, you can.
We all agree that babies should be in car seats, right?
I agree.
Do you believe a baby should be in a car seat?
I believe a baby. The baby. Well, that's hard because a baby.
No, it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
Do I believe the baby should be in car seats?
See?
No, because there's different levels. Do I believe that you should? Do I believe that you should lust after women?
What?
Do I believe that you should lust after women?
Is there a rule against it?
Should there be? Because I believe you shouldn't. And I bet a lot of people believe that you shouldn't lust after women. If there was a way to enforce that, do you think that we should all pass that rule? That law? I would say no, because you should
lust after women?
Yes, to lust after a woman. Because
what do you mean by that?
Because a lot of people believe that you should not lust after a woman, which is basically look at them in a sexual way. And not even necessarily that it's their fault. They believe you shouldn't do it, period, because it's wrong. Like, even having the idea in your head, even if it affects nobody else, is
so
bad.
You believe that looking at a woman, well, this goes both ways. A woman looking at a guy, lusting over a guy. You believe
with those
that,
doomy eyes.
You believe that shouldn't happen.
The reason why I brought it up?
Are you single?
Ish.
Okay, that's why you believe that.
No, but look, because not every belief should be instantiated into law. Some things can be regulated on the cultural level. Some things need to be regulated on the individual level. That's what I'm getting at. We've pushed a lot of things out of the culture into this last level where things should be very clear and obvious.
So a guy who doesn't believe that,
and I do believe
a lot of things should be regulated. Who you don't believe a lot of things should be regulated.
No, I believe things should be regulated, but we still need to figure a lot of it out. I believe we're ignorant as people, and we've made so many laws that belie our ignorance.
Hold on. Let me get this right.
And for the baby thing, I do believe it. I had to make sure that everything worked out. The baby can't.
Really? You had to go through that checklist?
No, I had to make sure. Yes, I want to be logically consistent. I don't just want to make rules on a whim. I don't want to fall into the same trap that I'm trying to fight against.
So what
emotionally based.
What's on your checklist to make sure?
Okay, this first I was like, okay, well the baby doesn't have consent, so a baby is basically the property of its parent. But it's a special class of property because it has the potential to become a fully developed human being to exercise its own free will. So I had to work through each logical step and see if I could justify it in a cohesive worldview. Because if you start making exceptions to the rule...
Okay, so what about abortion?
Abortion, that's one of those 5149 things.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Because
So-
there's a conflict
but
of
with
two
your
values.
checklist-
There's
with
a
your
conflict.
checklist-
Yeah, in my checklist, there's a conflict of two values.
What the mom wants, what the baby wants.
Well, not even that. The baby's
Well, the baby
right.
doesn't want anything.
No, the baby has a right to life. If it's
yes, but it doesn't want a life because it doesn't know what it
No,
wants.
but you have a right to life, whether you
well,
want
yeah,
it or
yeah,
not.
you have a right to life,
Yeah.
but you don't know if you want life.
Okay,
As an infant.
but as an infant,
Don't
we
get
also
me wrong,
babies.
I'm against abortion. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. Well, with your logic,
With my logic,
like-
it's a conflict of values. The two values that are in conflict are there's the rights of the woman to her own body, her own property. That's her body. And there's the rights of the baby to its body and its property. It has a right to life, maybe, depending on when we define life, how we should define life. There's a question that
does it matter?
doesn't matter when we
Immediately
define
as it
life.
becomes a zygote.
Does it matter when?
I don't know. Would you be
Because
okay
right
with it?
now, because right now they consist what 20 some weeks, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
20
wow.
weeks. But
20?
the Democratic Party platform is abortion up until birth. So in labor, you
So,
can
I
have an
mean,
abortion.
Okay, and
That's the platform. That's the platform as I
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
it. I could be wrong.
And the Republican platform is that
Pro-life.
the moment it's conceived, it's life.
Yeah. And for me, it's 51-49 in the pro-life position just because the way that I think about it is
So how would you regulate that then?
regulate what? The abortion?
Abortion. I mean, if you believe it's 49-51, I mean,
51-49. But see, that's the thing. I don't believe I should make a... If we can't figure it out, with the problem with... If you're making just a rule when laws
but
and values are in
in the
conflict...
society that we live in, okay, we don't live in a society where you do whatever the fuck you want.
We did.
Yeah, and a lot of people died.
And we became the greatest country on earth. So, I mean, you can be one of the
And the
weakest countries
reason-
on earth and all
And
your
the
people
reason,
live. I don't know.
the reason we're the greatest country on earth is because we were pretty lawless, and we're like, huh?
No, because lots of countries had laws.
You know,
We weren't
this
the
shit-
only country to ever come up with laws. There were countries that lived long before us, and
Yeah,
probably
but
long
we-
after that had laws. That can't be what made us special. Russia had laws. The UK had laws. The places it wasn't UK then, the British Empire. They all had laws. Laws isn't what it's the very specific types of laws that we had. It was the underlying ethic that we had.
Okay, and because of those laws, we are the greatest country
Yeah,
on
those
earth.
limited laws. And now we're less great.
How
we're
we-
more
how,
limited.
How are we less great?
We're still the greatest, but we're less great than what
Are we?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
Because we're not following the values that we set up that made this country so great. It was limited government. It was maximum freedom for the individual so that they could pursue their own interests.
Okay,
and
can you
figure out
pursue
for
your
themselves.
own interests right now?
Not to the maximum.
No. Well, what hinders you from pursuing your interests?
I don't know, taxes, regulations,
Really?
licenses. Yeah, if I want to serve people food, I need a
How
license.
does taxes prohibit you from you fulfilling your potential?
I have less money.
But does that prohibit you from?
To the maximum. Yes.
To the maximum?
It's below
Really?
the maximum.
I don't think it does.
Yes, because if I
No,
if
I think it has to
if
do
I
with
have
your
100
mentality.
If I have $100,
If you really want to, let's say you want to be an astronaut, right? If you really want to be an astronaut, you're not going to let some taxes or whatever
I agree.
hinder you from becoming an
I agree,
astronaut.
but we're not talking about the extraordinary case. Every person should be able to do to their maximum.
But what you're saying is that our laws prohibit you from
yes.
becoming. No,
No,
it
I didn't
doesn't.
say no. I'm saying our
It has
laws
to- it
they're
has to
limiting
do-
my
it
freedom.
has to do
And
with
there
your
are
will.
no,
It
this
has
is
to do
literally
with
what I'm
your
saying.
will.
There are limits to freedom that make sense, and every country has to do their own version. What I like about this country, out of all the countries on the earth, at least in principle, at least when it was founded, was the least limiting to human freedom than any country on the face of the earth. Over time, we have become less and less free as individuals as we've
Are we?
gained more and more laws. Yes, you don't realize it because you weren't alive in 1795.
I can go
And
and
there's
kill
lots of-
anybody.
No, that was one of the laws we
it-
made.
Yeah.
So that wasn't one of the
obviously,
freedoms I'm
not,
talking about.
I mean, I'm not that free.
Yeah.
I can't go drive a car down the road and hit anybody I want.
I know,
You
and that's
I'm
not a freedom I'm
that
advocating for.
But I don't believe.
I'm still free to make a Tesla competitor. Even with all the
Exactly.
red tape, I will break through if I really want
Exactly.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: you're being limited in your freedom
Is
because you have
how?
to follow those rules. He's not able to make. If he wants to make a
But the
Tesla competitor,
reasonable-
if he wants to make a Tesla competitor without seatbelts, he is not allowed to do that. That's
Of
a limit
course
on his
not.
freedom.
to.
Because-
Why the hell would I want to?
Maybe there's people that want to take the risk, but they just don't have the extra $100.
Who the hell wants to take that
No, no, no.
risk?
I don't know, but whoever wants to should be able to. That's
Really?
my point. Yes.
No.
That is extreme.
That's not extreme.
That
No,
extreme. I feel
No,
that,
okay.
That's,
This is where you have to go back to the bottom. Freedom
No.
is inherently a risky proposition. That's why historically no one ever pursued it. People prefer.
Do we have another topic?
I only have one more topic left, by the way.
Well, see, that's why I was trying to. I keep
We're not
pulling
going
you back.
anywhere. We're not.
No, but see, that's the thing.
No, we're not.
You have to drill down deep, and this takes time. And so that's why I don't know because
I told you on our first topic we reached an impasse. We came back to the topic.
It's not an impasse. It just has to go down deeper. We reach an impasse on the time limits that we have. I can agree to that, but there's not an actual impasse. You can go deeper. There might be an impasse way down there somewhere,
Right.
but we have not gone past the surface. Like it's like our country right now. It's kind of like the Leaning Tower of Pisa or Pisa, whatever you call it. Right? It's the foundation.
the Leaning Pizza.
The Leaning Tower of Pizza. Yeah. Okay. So it's in Italy, right? So
Yeah.
you can understand my mistake. But so
I like the Tower of Pizza.
Yeah.
okay,
Man.
but like we were built on this foundation, and right now we're over here, and we keep going over here. So at some point we're facing collapse situation. You can't tell because you don't know. You're not a. I don't want to say you. Most people can't tell,
Okay,
but
but
you're
you
starting
are?
to feel the shake.
But you are?
We all are.
No,
Trump being
no,
elected
hold
is
on.
a shake.
You're saying
Kanye
that I
West
can't.
thinks it.
You're saying that I can't tell because I wasn't back there. But were you?
No, I'm not saying. That's why I try to correct myself. When I say you, I mean most people. But you're starting to feel the
No, I'm
quakes.
pretty sure everybody that's alive right now, we're not alive.
No, they
back
don't
then.
have to be alive because if you do, if you know your history, if you go deep
It
into
doesn't,
stuff
matter.
beyond
It
what the
doesn't
school
matter how
teaches
much
you.
history you know.
Yes, because
you will
can
never know
yes.
exact. No,
Yeah,
you will not.
if you're and certain, if you have enough understanding, you can see that we're leaning far from the foundation, and something has to give. Either we're gonna fall over because the foundation's gonna be here, and we're moving the society over here, or we can move the foundations of the society over here. But something has to go one way or the other. Either it's gonna fall over, or to correct. The two ways to correct are move all the stuff that we've changed in society closer in alignment with the foundation, so you have like a straight house. Or you can move the foundation, which is much harder because it's built in over hundreds and thousands of years.
Do you not think that we're moving that foundation right now?
Yeah, but see that's.
I mean, isn't that the point of our?
No, right now we're here.
But isn't that
the
what?
foundation
No,
is
hold
out
on,
of
hold
alignment
on.
with where
But
society is today.
But isn't that what our rules and regulations are doing? Is helping move that foundation to where we at?
Give us a new perspective, a new code of ethics, a new philosophy.
But you want the government to give you a new philosophy, a new code of ethics,
But who is the government?
The government is
Who is the government?
The government
isn't this magical institution.
I'm not saying it's a magical. It's the
We're the
people in
government.
power and the positions
We're
of
the
power.
government.
No,
Yes,
we
we are.
elect the government to
Yeah,
serve
but who?
us.
But who?
But see,
but
that's
who
one of those
are
things.
they?
No,
but
you were
who
talking
are
about
they?
the foundation shifted.
Who are they?
Before the government was a servant of the people.
Who are those
Now,
elected officials?
We are a servant of the government.
Who are those
Is that
elected?
a way you want to move the foundation?
Sure.
You want to be a servant of? Then what's the point of leaving a monarchy? This is what I'm saying. Like you can say that so easily, but it's like it was so hard to get rid of the concept of one person should rule everything because obviously there's too much chaos. You need order. It was so freaking hard when America did it, and it's been a slow crawl right back to the same crap in a new facade.
It's a rubber band effect that I told you about earlier.
But that's
Yeah,
the
but that
life.
doesn't mean it's
But
a
that's
good
the life of
rubber
progression.
Yeah, but
We're progressing.
No, that's not a progression. That's a change. You can assume it's a progression. See,
That's semantics if I've ever seen one.
No,
Oh, shit.
Okay, but here's a real no.
God damn it.
Okay, okay, and here's where semantics
There you
change.
go.
Progression
Okay.
includes betterment. Change just means different. It could also be better or worse.
Okay.
See,
Well,
not all change is progression.
We need to move on.
Yes.